Tony Khan's got another huge announcement, so we're going to wildly speculate about what it could possibly be. Welcome to the WrestleTalk Podcast. I am Chopper P. Quinnell. I'm joined by the hardest working woman in all of sports infotainment. It's Denise Salcedo. That's right. Team Penise rides again.
Team Penise rides again. That is right. What happened to Adam? I was told Adam was going to do today's show, so he's dodging me, isn't he?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what he said. You know, I saw him in the office and he was like, you know, Pete, I just hate Denise, so I'm really going to need you to do the show. And that's the exact conversation that happened. You can quote me on that.
I knew it. Adam chickened out of doing this podcast with me. I knew it. See, that's the thing about Adam. He acts all brave and tough, but in reality, he's just afraid of me.
Exactly, yeah. It's a real shame as well because, you know, he broke his ass this week as well. Dumbizing you, Adam. He did a thing where normally I write a script for him each week for a news list that goes out on a Sunday on the main WrestleTalk channel. And 1 week I was off and he had to write the script himself. And normally on the intro, I'll do a little funny bit for Adam to say. And he said, well, this week I'm writing the script myself because Pete, he broke his ass and he can't do it anymore. So at Pete Quinnell on Twitter to send him your wishes and all that stuff. And I was like, Adam, I hate you. Because all my mentions were all the people being like, hope your ass gets better soon.
So now you got to do the exact same thing to him.
Exactly, yeah. At Adam the Blompier on Twitter, go wish him well and say that his hope his ass gets better soon. Also, very quickly, because I have to, it's Team Penise.
Yes.
I just needed to make sure that we actually show the graphic this time.
Live and in the flesh.
Live and in flesh for Team Penise. I don't know about that phrasing, Denise, I'll be honest.
You better hold on tight. It's too early in the morning. This is the best I can do right now.
Oh, God. Get in your thoughts about what you think Tony Khan's announcement is going to be on next week's Dynamite. Send in your Ultrachats at WrestleTalk.com/support. We're going to go through all those later on. So this is another Tony Khan huge announcement. Obviously, the last one he did was the announcement of him buying Ring of Honor and that whole shebang. And he's done quite a few huge announcements in the past. So people have been wildly speculating about what it could possibly be. I haven't seen any like firm reports of what it could be. All I've seen is like speculation. I don't think anybody particularly knows what this one's about. I saw something about some people saying that on a podcast somewhere, which I couldn't find any evidence of myself when I went to go look, but there's rumors afloating on social media that there could be an AEW New Japan crossover show, and for some reason June 23rd in Chicago is the thing that's been floated about on the internet. That sounds kind of fun if it is going to be that.
You know, it's interesting because I feel like when the announcement was made that he was going to have a big announcement, I almost didn't really, so when the last time that he did this, before he bought Ring of Honor, right? I think there was a lot more speculation of like what it could be, right? And down the line, you know, it ended up being a lot of people were speculating Ring of Honor, and it ended up being just that. And this time I feel like there's a little bit less speculation where there's only like so many options of what you think it could be. And it's funny too, because I just feel like a lot of people are kind of like, you know, shitting on the whole, like, oh, this is like a big announcement all the time, et cetera, et cetera. So I do kind of feel like it has to be something that is going to deliver in terms of keeping up the expectations of like what the huge announcement may be. So with that being said, I do think that, you just mentioned that one, right? The one about a joint show. I think that one would be good, but I don't necessarily think that it has to be like a big announcement type of thing. I actually think that if it is going to be something that I would legitimately be like, oh, you know what? That's cool. And it makes a lot of sense is if they were to announce, you know, hey, they're going to be, you know, on some sort of streaming platform, whether it be HBO Max or something else or something like that. So some sort of like streaming deal. If it has to do with like AEW, but then part of me was like, well, what if it has to do with Ring of Honor? Maybe he's going to be like, hey, this is where Ring of Honor is going to be airing on a weekly basis. And so that was my thing where I'm like, okay, I don't know. Like, we don't know if this has to do with AEW, Ring of Honor, AEW and Ring of Honor, like what the specifics of it are. But I think for me, I think the thing that people would be excited about would probably be the streaming deal. I feel like the show is exciting too, but I think that one could be made like a I don't know. I think if you were going to announce that show, you could just like announce it, right? Like on the show or something like that, or on social media. What do you think?
Yeah, I think if you're going to announce it on a Dynamite, if you're going to announce, if it is going to be like an AEW New Japan crossover show, I think you could. What would make it worth it on a Dynamite is if you then have some New Japan talent on that show to be like, we're going to have the crossover show, and here's insert New Japan name here. Here's Okada, and everyone goes, what?
Right. So
And
it kind of feels like this would be out of nowhere for that.
It would be. It would totally be out of nowhere for it, but it'd be really fun.
It would be fun. It would be
Yeah.
fun. And like, June, I don't know what's going on in June. I haven't looked at my calendar. I don't know what's on June 23rd. What's going on? Is that even a Saturday? Is that a Sunday? What's going on in June 23rd?
I haven't looked that far ahead. Let me check. June 23rd is a Thursday.
A Thursday.
Okay.
For you though.
Yeah. That was just the rumor that I heard on social media was June 23rd, Chicago. So it seems like it would be June 23rd, like the Thursday night. So it would be like a Friday morning for. I don't know. That seems
No, it'd be like a Wednesday for us, right? Because you guys are like 7 to 8 hours ahead.
Well, I mean, because the people on social media were just saying it's going to be June 23rd, Chicago. I don't think they were UK based, so I think it would be like.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, my brain is not on yet.
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't think there's too much else going on in June. We've got. Let me check my thing.
Who are these people on social media saying that?
I don't know. I just saw a bunch of people, and it was just a few tweets that were like floating around. Some people said that some people mentioned it on a podcast that's what's going to happen, and some people just be like, "Well, that's the rumor," which I'm not basing too much on.
Podcast? See, we don't know what podcast.
Let me see if I can find this. It was
maybe the chat knows what podcast.
The Super J Cast.
Still out of the loop.
The Super J Cast. Apparently.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, no, I don't.
We're just like, I don't know.
Anyway, that was just one possibility. I know people have been calling for an AEW New Japan crossover show forever, because they're so intrinsically linked with some of their top stars having all the history in New Japan, and it would make a lot of sense. Dave Meltzer weighed in on Wrestling Observer Radio. His no reports, just like speculation of what he thinks it could be. Could be Ring of Honor later, or as you mentioned, AEW's streaming deal. I think that is probably the most likely. Either it's going to be like a Ring of Honor TV deal or AEW streaming service. And I think now we're getting into like, how many years? 3 years of Dynamite now? And with the backlog of AEW shows before that as well, I feel like now they have a decent backlog of shows to put on a streaming service to make it like worthwhile for people.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. They have so much, like so much. Like when you think about it, there's a lot in there. And like, I think now is the time when, fans want to go back. They want to rewatch shows, and we don't really have that, an opportunity to do that, so it's like there's so much that you may have forgotten that you like want to go back and watch. And like I think that would be something that the fans would be like, yes, finally. And then also people want a better option too for like, and I don't know like how this works, like the technicality of all of this, but people want a better option to like stream the pay-per-views. And like a lot of people are not having the grandest time with with BR Live and all of that. So I wonder how that fits into all of this. And I think that's another thing where it's like we need something that's, I think, a lot easier to actually be able to like watch and purchase the shows.
Absolutely, yeah, because for all of its faults, the WWE Network is and was amazing.
I miss the WWE Network here. It's not the same on the Peacock. I used to go back and watch stuff on the WWE Network. On the Peacock, I have not gone back and watched anything. It's just like the search functions is so different that it just takes away like, do I really want to take the extra time to hassle and try to find something? Not really. I'm not going to do it. So I don't do it. So like the Peacock kind of like, I wish we had both options somehow. I don't know how. Yeah, like I wish we had both options where like, I don't know, we could watch the shows on the Peacock, but go back and watch the library on the WWE Network. I don't know. I know that's not possible and that's wishful thinking, but it is harder to go back on the Peacock.
Yeah, I would love for them to have a proper, good streaming platform where you can easily find a load of content, because there is so much rewatchability in AEW, and there's so much like long-term storytelling, and there's so much like callbacks to previous things. So if people are joining and becoming new fans sooner, it also gives them the option to go back and rewatch those initial things to understand the context of what's happening now, which would really, really benefit their product, I reckon. A couple of other options that I think are probably less likely, but could still happen. I don't think it's going to be a new signing. I just don't get that vibe. I feel like AEW is now on the more of the vibe of the surprises rather than the announcements, unless it's like a Hall of Fame talent or like a producer or someone who's like a big recognizable name that's going to be like working backstage or something. That's more of an announcement they tried to do. But people have been excited to see Johnny Gargano return to wrestling. People have been excited to see Cesaro, to see what he's going to do. I don't think it's probably going to be either of those.
This way, though. Yeah, like you wouldn't format it in the way of like, because lately what he's been doing is like, oh, this person's mystery, like the way he brought in Keith Lee, right? Where it was like this mystery person's going to come in and they're going to sign a contract. Same thing with Tony Storm. I was like, oh, this person's going to come in and they're going to sign a contract. And then or turn the lights off and this person appears, but I don't think it fits into the format of like, oh, huge announcement and then I don't know, Johnny Gargano or something. Like it just doesn't feel, it's too much of a disconnect, and I don't think people would be like, what, like, because you got to understand, like that may be a huge announcement to some people but not a huge announcement to everybody. Like it's a lot harder when I think it's like somebody that you're trying to bring in. I mean, unless it's like freaking, I don't know, somebody like The Rock, then okay, fine, that's a huge announcement, okay? But like anybody else is going to be like, oh, well, that may be a huge announcement to a certain group of fans, but not to everybody.
Yeah, it's the Christine Cage thing where I thought, I was like, that's a pretty big announcement. That's cool. And a lot of people were like, that wasn't worth it. And I was like, I disagree personally. I thought it was pretty big, but some people didn't think it was big enough.
I get it. Like as much as I love and respect Christian Cage, I was more along the lines of like, ooh, this was completely overhyped. I did think that announcement was overhyped.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I'm more doubtful about a signing, but something that I think is an actual possibility is that following in the footsteps of WWE announcing their first UK pay-per-view since 1992, and AEW having gone on record saying that they wanted to do a UK show before pandemic struck, could they be announcing a UK show? Do you reckon? Because there was such massive interest for WWE's one on All Out Weekend.
Let me ask you though, would you announce something? Because what town are they going to be in next week for Dynamite? Do you recall what city they're going to be in?
Can't tell you.
Because but they're going to be like in the States, right?
Oh yeah.
Like what reaction? Like, let's just say that it was Los Angeles, right? And they were like, oh, we have this big announcement. And then all the LA people were there, okay? Including myself. And they were like, we're going to do a show in the UK. I'd be like, oh, well, that's nice for them. Congratulations. Yeah, that's nice.
Congrats. Well done.
Congrats. I wouldn't be like, wow, because I ain't going to the UK to go watch the show. So I feel like an announcement like that, you would do it differently too,
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's nice for them. How cool, interesting. But does that does that impact my life directly? Not so much.
I mean, that's almost exactly how I felt about the Ring of Honor thing, because I was like, how is it going to affect your show, TK? You're just saying you've bought a thing. But I think it'd be really cool if they did announce the UK one. But the thing is, I felt like the Ring of Honor announcement didn't need to be on a Dynamite. Because it didn't.
I did just because that was a big announcement, and I think it was more so of like saving a like historic promotion, and that's why he decided to make the announcement like there. And now, given that in hindsight, like we know now that he's sort of like kind of weaving in a little bit of Ring of Honor into AEW, and also the incorporation of bringing in Samoa Joe, like that's like a huge signing, and so. I also think that was going to get the most buzz. And if you're going to be investing in this new company and, putting in your millions of dollars or whatever, you're going to want to make sure you make that announcement for this new investment on like the platform that is going to get the most eyeballs. So I do think for that one, it definitely had to be made on Dynamite. Like it wouldn't have just been like, if you would have just tweeted out like, hey, I bought Ring of Honor, people would be like, oh, that's so cool. But then like next day's news, oh, it's wiped away,
Yeah. Yeah, I can totally understand that. I think for me on the Ring of Honor one, it needed like a bit more to say like this is how it's going to impact AEW, because to me it kind of came across as I'm just going to take some time at the start of the show to just talk about the thing I bought and I'm really happy about it, without it actually saying like here's what the future of Ring of Honor looks like, and this is how it's going to affect. This is why it's
So maybe
this
the
is why it's
announcement was
interesting for you
made
fans, you know?
too early, you think? Like, maybe it could have been made when it was like, "Oh, hey, I bought Ring of Honor," but then it's the thing, they had to make the announcement, though, because they had the Super Card of Honor show coming up,
Mhm.
because they could have been like, "Oh, hey, I bought Ring of Honor, and it's gonna air every Tuesday on so-and-so
Mhm.
channel," you know?
Yeah,
Something like
exactly
that.
right. I don't know. I just feel like it needed like some sort of tease to be like, this is what our plans are, kind of thing. Even if they didn't have any like concrete plans, to just be like, hey, I bought Ring of Honor, and we're gonna use it really well. You know, we're gonna have a crossover between Ring of Honor and AEW talent, and it's gonna be great, kind of thing. Just that, and I'll be like, cool, makes total sense why it's on Dynamite.
But
But
then at the
that's
exact
just
same time, there was like a bunch of buzz afterwards in terms of like, well, what is he going to do with Ring of Honor? Is he going to
Mhm.
be a developmental? Is he going to be treated like a third brand? Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And, I remember like even afterwards, because I think what was Revolution was like right after that. And
Mhm.
people were, everybody wanted to know about Ring of Honor. Like, yeah, we had this great show with Revolution, but what everybody wanted to talk about was Ring of Honor because nobody knew like any information. So I do
Yeah.
kind of think it was a little bit of like, hey, here's a little information. And see, like, I did understand where, like, I remember, like, on the media scrum, he kept talking about how, like, they still didn't have a lot of those details, like, ironed out. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that makes sense. I've never purchased a big ass company,
Yeah.
but I'm assuming it's not, an easy thing to do. Like, hey, I bought it. And now all of a sudden, all these things come with it. Like, you have to go out and, like, figure that stuff out and talk to people and whatnot. So don't worry. One day when I buy a big giant company, I'll let you know the details, the intricate details of what actually goes down.
Perfect. Thanks, Denise. I'm holding you to that. Another possible option. I've seen a few people in the chat say it as well. They've been talking about doing trios titles forever. Do you reckon they can announce trios titles here now that they have even more trios than they had before? Because they've got the Undisputed Elite, and they have God, my brain has just been frazzled. Blackpool Combat Club now as well. There's tons of like trios that could totally work in this kind of situation in AEW. Do you think the time is now for the trios titles?
Well, it's not about whether I think it's time or not. It's I recall Tony Khan mentioning this on one of the media calls where he said that he was legitimately just like waiting for Kenny Omega to return so that he could sort of spearhead that.
Yeah.
And so the question is Kenny Omega back and ready to return? The last I heard, he was still waiting on, certain surgeries because he seems to be getting like a lot of work done, for his body. And like surgeries and all of that. So
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, oh, what does that mean? Like in terms of like, I don't know where Kenny Omega's at on all of that, but that was one of the things that he did mention was like, okay, once, I want Kenny Omega to return so that we can focus in on that. But then like you mentioned, like, yeah, they got, I was about to mix in William Regal and Danielson's name at the same time. I was going to say Williamson. William Regal and Bryan Danielson and not William Regal, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, and Wheeler Yuta, right?
Yeah.
So like, now there's an option where like maybe you don't have to wait for Kenny Omega, but at the exact same time, it's like, he can still like, spearhead things, behind the scenes and whatnot.
Yeah. And I mean, just in terms of other trios, I've seen a few people mentioning a few others as well, being like, the Jericho Appreciation Society and Kingston and Santana and Ortiz is a good option as well. So there's quite a few like important and good trios, not just like, hey, there's this one important team and all the others. There's a few like really good solid teams that could flesh out a proper like division for that as well, which is for me very exciting because I think trios is fun and should be used more. There's also some stuff that came out recently. I think it was a Fightful Select report. I might be wrong. About the AEW video game, which is apparently still having a release date in September.
Oof.
So do you think...
I don't know or care anything about video games, so you tell me everything you know.
Apparently, it's still due for a September release date, and we still don't really know anything about it. So it could be like an announcement to be like, hey, the video game's coming out at this date. Or it could be like,
well,
hey,
tell me, I'm not like a video game person. What do people want to know? Like, what do you need
What's
to know
in the
for a
game?
video game? Don't you
What's
just
in
need
the
to know like,
game,
hey, it's coming
Denise?
out September?
Yeah, like what's in the game? Do you have any different like game modes? Like what's...
Well, they have
What is the
matches,
game?
like every wrestling game, right? Can you assume that they have like matches and create a wrestler and a season?
Do you have like
I'm
a
not
My
a
GM
gamer,
mode?
as you can tell. So for me, I'm like, what info do you guys need to know?
Whereas in like, they could talk about whether they have any sort of like, do they have, because the create modes vary very much between games. So it could just be create a wrestle, or it could be create movesets, create entrances, create title belts, like create all sorts of different stuff like that, create custom match types, all that jazz, right? So it's like, what features would there be in the game? It's probably information that a lot of people would want to know a lot. Is there a story mode? Do you have like a career thing of like an actual like progression through a wrestling video game? Because that's a thing that would be hotly anticipated, I think, which I think they said they were going to do. Don't quote me on that. Can't remember. But yeah, I think maybe just some more footage from it as well, because a lot of people, we haven't really seen anything from like the initial stages.
Like more of like, is it good? Like, but I feel like now, like, is it safe to assume that like all video games are pretty much like super advanced and good? Like the features and whatnot.
Yeah.
Again, I do not play video games, as you can tell. I am new to this world.
Indeed, yes. But I mean, like, there's been a few major flops recently. Maybe on the 2K side of 2K20.
There was that one game. Which one was the one where I kept seeing all over social media where they were like glitching and I don't know what else.
Yeah, that was 2K20, which was real bad, and everyone hated it. So they didn't do 2K21 to focus more on doing 2K22, and that's come out and that's been better. A lot of people are quite enjoying that game, me included. We're doing a series on partsFUNknown of me and Luke playing my GM mode on 2K22, and it's very fun. So I think, people just kind of want to see what parts of the video game there are, like what features are going to be in it and how much we can expect. What's the scale of the game that we can expect? Is it just going to be like a little like fun arcadey, beat 'em up, do some wrestling, or is it going to be like a big, intricate, like expansive thing?
I mean, probably it should be like a big, intricate, fancy thing. Like, yeah, that sounds.
You think so?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Now here's my wild one, Denise. Here's the crazy one. Are you ready? What if Tony Khan's bought Impact?
Oh God! So that was actually, when Tony Khan first purchased AEW, that was my prediction that he was going to buy Impact Wrestling within that first year just to take contracts and whatnot. So that didn't happen. So I think that ship sailed. I'm not on that ship anymore. I left. Yeah. I don't think so. I think Impact's doing their own thing and they're killing it and they're, doing their own. They're in their own island doing not really an island. I feel like MLW's in their own island. Impact's in an island closer to the city.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how I'd feel about Impact at all. Honestly, I think I wouldn't like it if he announced that, because to me that's just another billionaire buying a lot of wrestling companies. And even though he puts on some good shows, as a troubling signs is what I'd call it if Tony Khan starts buying up other promotions. But
billionaires, man, they own this world. We're just here. We're just jobbers in it.
Dude, we are just living in billionaires' worlds. Yep. That's all it is. But yeah, we should probably see what you guys think. I think that's all the possibilities I had for.
I was gonna say I can't think of anything else. I don't know. He's buying Chuck E. Cheese. There you go.
He's buying Chuck E. Cheese. You know what?
I was gonna say, do you know what Chuck E. Cheese is?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what
I wasn't sure if you knew what Chuck E. Cheese was.
Yeah. I don't think we have it, but I know what it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. That's my big theory. Tony Khan is buying Chuck E. Cheese.
What if Denise Salcedo is All Elite? What if that's the big announcement?
Oh my God. Can you imagine? Like, that would be the big announcement. Everybody would hate my guts.
It really would. It would be great.
I'd be like, but yeah, that's not happening.
I'd pop for it. And that's all that matters.
Oh, finally, I'd have one person excited for that.
Yeah. Get in your Ultrachats to WrestleTalk.com/support. And also, just before we go through your Ultrachats, just want to say that this stream is sponsored by the WrestleTalk magazine, which is awesome. I don't have a copy with me, I think, because I'm not actually in my flat right now. But you should go get it. We're doing this big promotional push where you can get a £1 digital version of the magazine. £1 for the whole magazine, digital version. That's really, really cheap. Just go get it. There's a link in the description. You can do £10 for a whole year's worth of magazines as well. There's so much great writing in there. There's really like intricate deep dive articles and stuff on there. Really good stuff. Like in the last episode that I was reading, there was a really, really interesting piece about like Charlotte Flair's relationship with WWE and like how there's been like weird backstage incidents with her and like her relationship with her dad and stuff like that. It's like really, really like big deep dive on the magazine. Is really good. Go check out the link.
Do quizzes though on the WrestleTalk magazine? You should do quizzes.
We should do a Quizzlemania section. You're right.
Yeah, have you guys not done that yet?
We've already got the branding for it. We should do that.
I was gonna say you should because all the magazines I buy, I always play the quizzes. Like who are you? Or what does this say about your fashion style? Well, those are the magazines I buy. Like, what are your fashion styles? How do you describe your summer vibe? Dumb stuff like that. You could put stuff like that. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
You need to go and pitch that at the next meeting.
I've legitimately
full creative. You can take full creative.
I've legitimately just written that down as a note.
See, there you go. Look at me.
Flawless.
Already pitching ideas. You can do horoscopes. Do you guys do horoscopes?
Wrestling horoscopes.
Wrestling horoscopes. You will go to a WrestleMania this year if all your stars align.
Love it. That's perfect. It's actually pretty good. I'm also going to
submit a fan drawing. Your drawing can be featured on WrestleTalk magazine. Oh my God, I'm just sitting here pitching you all these ideas.
This is, Denise, we should get you for a pitch.
Cutouts, like poster cutouts. You get a poster.
That works if it's not the digital version.
You can still do a digital version. True. Like you get to print it out at your own leisure.
Nice. This is great. That we're just doing admin at this point, Denise. This is great.
Can I say there's a lot going on in here?
Yeah, apparently. But regardless, we'll get into your Ultrachats now. Keep sending those into WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll go through all the ones that are $5 and up by the time the show goes off the air. Mayor of Painesville Dan, that came in on yesterday's Dynamite review stream, said, I think they'll put the title on Satnam Singh. Warner Discovery merger, famous basketball player, AEW ventures in India. It only makes sense. Put the wrestling on the back burner to grow the company. It's just business, and he is so tall. He is tall.
He is very tall. He's what, 7'3"?
Yeah, something like that. 7'2", 7'3".
Yeah.
He is not going to win the world title.
Bless his heart. Bless his cotton socks. And he seems like a very sweet guy, but that was not for me.
No.
It was not for a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yes. But yeah, I think you'd hope at least that AEW would have learned from WWE's mistakes.
Ooh, this screamed WWE. But I get why they did it. Like, Dave put out, his, article and basically talked about them trying to build in India and all of that. I get that. Everybody's been trying to profit off of India and all of that. So
yeah. Will
it work? I don't know, but they're trying.
Maybe we'll figure it out.
Is try.
Yeah. Tenraza said, the Super J-Cast on the Voices of Wrestling Radio Network is the incredible podcast you're thinking of. That was the one that talked about the AEW New Japan crossover show. Great track record with sources and what they've reported. I just hope it's a stadium show, but I think it will be United Center. Very happy, though. Well, yeah. I don't personally know their track record. I haven't seen any of their reports and stuff, but if that is true, then cool. That'd be great if it is an AEW New Japan show. Mr. CJ Lilly. Our resident Alexa Bliss Stan says, hi, Team Pennies. I'm noticing that as great as all the new surprises for AEW are, and it's great for the talent, I get the feeling some are getting tired of the almost weekly big announcements Tony makes, not saying stop, perhaps space them out more.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people basically saying the exact same thing and kind of mocking it. So that's why I'm basically like, oh, this announcement has to be good. Because if not, people are just going to be like, oh, people are going to be like, here we go again. What's the announcement going to be? Because I don't feel, and maybe I haven't been much online, but I don't feel like there's as much buzz for this big announcement as there was for the last one when he was going to announce Ring of Honor. I feel like that one was like it consistently on a daily basis. I was seeing somebody be like, what do you think it's going to be? I think it's going to be this, blah, 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 blah. Like this time, I don't really see that.
Yeah, I don't either. And I think it probably is a little bit of diminishing returns of doing too many huge announcements. But I will also say I don't feel like they've not followed through with a lot of their announcements. I feel like a lot of them have been huge
Yeah.
announcements, and they've been worth it. So I don't think we've hit that point yet of them being like, ugh, another overhyped thing that Tony Khan's doing, because I think they have mostly followed through on huge announcements.
Right. Like, I'm excited for the announcement, especially if it's going to be a streaming deal. I think that's the one where I'll be like most excited for. Where I'll be like, you know what?
Yeah.
Sweet. I can plan. Hey, this fall we're going to start seeing, Dynamite on HBO Max. Cool. I don't know. That's just me guessing.
Yeah. Mr. CJ Lady continuing said, do you think AEW have hit their viewership ceiling as the constant new signings has started to feel like they're bringing back a legend to pop a rating when they slip a bit? How do they grow the audience if these surprises don't work? Tony's burning out the bots.
Well, here's the thing, though. They have a lot, like, for example, a lot of the reason why people tuned in this week was why? Because people wanted to see Samoa Joe versus Minoru Suzuki. On top of that, people really wanted to see CM Punk versus Penta. So it's like, yeah, the roster's loaded and I can get the whole bringing somebody in to pop a rating, but it's also making matchups like this that you probably didn't expect to be seen. Those are what's also going to be bring people in. Like, nobody knew that Satnam Singh was going to be coming out at the end of the show. People didn't know or care about that. People just wanted to go in and watch Samoa Joe versus Minoru Suzuki. And also, the announcement of the overrun, that's what I think also kind of got people hyped, where it's like, oh man, we're going to get like a freaking like lengthy classic match between Samoa Joe and Minoru Suzuki. So I feel like, yeah, like they're bringing in a bunch of people, but I think what's getting people to tune into the shows is not so much more so the big announcements anymore, or like these surprise signings. It's more now, I think, of this is a match that I really want to watch because, I wasn't expecting this match to be made. And so here I am. And then the people that are following the program on a weekly basis, then, they're obviously on a different, they're different because they're already following on a weekly basis. But the people that don't and maybe tune in and out, I think it depends on like the matches that are being put on the show.
Yeah, I'm with you. And one more from CJ Lilly again that says, hi Team Denise. On another topic, seeing all the beautiful pictures from Alexa and Carmella's wedding, are you looking forward to yours, Denise? And it was great to see so many current and former superstars at both wedding shows. They're all friends backstage.
Yeah, speaking of wedding, I went yesterday to go do like my food tasting thing, like where they taste the food and all of that. And it was all right. I was pretty like, oh my God, I felt so like embarrassed, but I wanted to lick the plate after the mashed potatoes. They were so freaking good. I was like, oh, I want more. They were so good. But yeah, I'm excited. There's, things are happening, things are moving along. I hadn't seen my venue in a really long time though, because it was I had booked it like before COVID-19 and all of that. I was supposed to have a 2-year engagement and ended up being a 3-year engagement. And so I showed up and guess what they did, Pete?
What did they do, Denise?
And this may not be a big deal to you, but it was a big deal to me. They remodeled the floor. So the floor is different now in the venue. And I was upset because when I first went in to go and see this venue, one of the things that I really liked about it was the floor.
Yeah.
Like I thought the floor was really nice. And so they had like this tile before. Now they have no tile. The tile is gone. And I was like, what? Where's my tile? That was part of the reason why it had like a whole vibe. And the floor being gone without the tile, there's no vibe anymore. And so I was like, well, I feel like that my mom was like, that's something that they should tell people, because obviously when you go and you search for a wedding venue, they like, you look at every detail to see like if you like the place or not. The floor is obviously a big, like, it's a thing. People look at the floor. And so that happened. And then also I had to tell my fiance that our bill's going to be bigger now because of one thing. I did not want the basic chairs. I went for the fancy chairs. And so I'm getting like fancy chairs at the wedding, but they were like, oh, that costs an upgrade. And I'm like, how much is the upgrade? And the girl was like, she negotiated with me. It was great. And like, basically I'm like, yeah, so our bill's going to be bigger because I wanted the fancy chairs. Chairs are important, Pete. Like, I don't know how to tell you. A chair can make or break the look of your wedding.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I'm totally with you.
And they already took the floor. The floor is gone.
If they've got the floor, you're getting your chairs. That's just how it works.
Yeah. And I was pissed too, because I'm like, bro, in your brochures, these are all the chairs that you're promoting. And the chairs, like, I thought those were the chairs I was getting, not the other chairs. So they're just taking money from me left and right, man.
Man, awful. Will Campbell said, "Hi guys, TK making another big announcement, be it a new title or something with Ring of Honor or whatever, is fine. However, maybe before doing anything else, maybe he should shore up the women's division. In recent weeks and months, it seems Big Swole may have a point."
Well, her point was more so about the women's division, was it not? Yeah, because I remember reading her article, and it was more so about like the women's division and whatnot, and that's like been a whole thing. And then and then what was the rest of the question? Sorry.
So it's just maybe before doing another huge announcement for whatever he's doing, he should shore up the women's division first before.
Oh yeah, okay,
expanding essentially. Which yes, I agree with. Sort of.
I think we all can agree with that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Plasma PD said, "Morning, Pete and Denise. I'm interested by this combo. TK announcement is he bought PWG, but seriously, I think it's an AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, DDT Super Show in the works, or a TV deal for Ring of Honor."
Yeah, so the Super Show seems to be creeping up there with theories, like you just mentioned. And then I just really hope it's a streaming deal. But then maybe in a couple months we'll get another huge announcement and it'll be the streaming deal.
I was going to say, no, Denise, that's next week we're getting.
Yeah, that's next week. That's the following week.
Yeah. Charles Berg comes in to say, while it would be nice if it was the announcement of an AEW UK show or tour, I'm not from the UK, but you guys are nice and deserve nice things. I don't think that's the announcement. What do I think it will be? I think the trio's titles will be revealed. I think if Kenny's
that one would pertain very nicely, I think, to AEW and the programming. It makes sense. People would be excited about it. That would be a good one. But I would say, would it be a huge announcement or just a big announcement? There's a difference between huge and big, in my eyes.
I think that
too much into it.
I think that classes as a big announcement rather than a huge announcement.
Right. That's what I'm thinking too. They promoted it as huge announcements. Okay, we're reading way too much into this.
It's like earth-shattering. It's huge, you know?
Okay, earth-shattering is just a little too much. I don't think anybody outside the wrestling world is going to care. If it's an earth-shattering announcement, everybody's going to care. Whether I think that's more for like wrestling fans. Like earth-shattering within the wrestling world.
Yes.
Maybe, yeah. But not like earth-shattering encompasses the entire earth. Okay, this is too much. I'm overthinking things.
Tony Khan buying Impact. That's earth-shattering. Travis Griffin said, I believe if I remember correctly, if everything went 100% with Kenny, he should be back mid to late June. Yeah, I think that was the latest reports, was he's still got a few months yet. But that might still be out later because he still needs hella rest time because he was messed up.
Can you imagine, like, you're fixing so many body parts? Like, I can't imagine. I would just be in bed all day.
Yeah, exactly. I actually physically couldn't imagine doing that.
I remember when I got like my wisdom teeth taken out, I was in bed the whole day. Like I didn't go anywhere. And that was just like one little tiny portion of my entire body.
Yeah. Act Channel says, I hate the Satnam stole Alexa Bliss's gimmick. Okay, this is a joke, Denise. Apparently the audio's cutting out for people. Oh no.
From me or from you?
I don't know. It just says audio. I don't know whether it's just the whole stream.
Test.
Yeah. Oh well. It's fine.
Test.
Is what it is. Can't do much about it. So saying that we stole Alexa Bliss's gimmick has become a thing. Our Alexa Bliss stan CJ Lilly that always Ultrachats in said that people were stealing Alexa Bliss's gimmick when I don't think there's much evidence of that at all. So now it's become an ongoing joke that everyone's stealing Alexa Bliss's gimmick. It's a bit mean to CJ Lilly. Stop saying it. Sheldon Jackson says, what are you expecting from tonight's title match between Hangman and Adam Page? Also, who do you think wins?
I'm rooting for Adam.
Helpful.
I'm rooting for Hangman Adam Page, yeah. I'm wanting to trick you.
Yeah, Hangman's going to win.
Yesterday, I did that to my mom, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I told her, I was like, oh, hey, Mom, I picked the linens for the table. They're going to be orange. And she was like, oh, that's nice, Denise.
Yeah.
I was
just trying to play. I was like,
yeah, and I was very serious about it too.
Yeah, amazing. I honestly forgot that was tonight. I'm quite excited now.
Yeah, I'm very
Great.
well, I'm hoping because there's an earlier start time today for
Mhm.
Rampage.
Yeah.
So I'm going to watch it in the airport. So, because yeah,
Mm.
I'm gonna
Fun.
be like flying, so I have to go to the airport and I'm gonna watch it there if all my stars align.
Yeah. I'll be watching it in the morning like I normally do. Um, Jake Godbold said, basically, it seems that MJF booking Wardlow just seems to me like it's the start of a Trials of Wardlow type thing, with the end game being Wardlow versus MJF to release him from the contract. Is this formula going to get stale? I would argue, based on all the reactions that Wardlow's been getting, no.
Dude, Wardlow's hot stuff right now.
Hmm.
He's buffalo wings with fries, man. He's hot
Oh yeah,
stuff.
oh yeah, and he's also hot stuff in another way too. That is a handsome man.
Well,
Um,
okay, Pete. Okay.
I'm just saying. But
Hey,
yeah,
I mean,
I
like if
think that
Wardlow asks any one of us to dance, I don't think any of us are saying no. I'm like,
no, exactly right. That's what I'm
take
saying.
my hand.
I don't think that formula is getting stale at all. I thought that him turning on MJF and then them not doing the Wardlow MJF thing immediately was a mistake. Turns out that's why I'm not a wrestling booker, because they've now been dragging out the story even more, and people are getting even more and more organically over for it. And even though they're dragging it out for so long now, think of how long they stretched out that face turn
Oh,
for
it was
Wardlow.
months.
It was months and months and months they waited for that face turn. Then we got the face turn, and now they're dragging out the eventual match with MJF, and it's working. People are
I
so on board for it.
I love that every week he basically comes out and looks like a monster. When you have a man try to take on like what 50, I don't know how many security guards are out there, but it's definitely more than 10. When
Mm.
you have a man trying to go up against all those other dudes, it makes that one guy look really, really extraordinary, and like him going back there and like taking out all these guys, when he power bombed one of the securities last week, like literally broke him in half. It was a great visual. Poor guy,
So
but it was
good.
a great visual. And then even just like when he would grab the camera and get all angry and basically like he's doing a great job of it.
Yeah, he really, really is. Tenraza said, talk about New Japan, please. Watch Hyper Battle from this past week. It felt like a proper New Japan show. Crown was a bit more noisy as well. Felt good. Both you guys, please get into Japanese wrestling. Both you guys, please get into Japanese wrestling. Crowds are coming back. Fukuoka Dome show will be great. I'm sure it will be. I only have so much time to watch wrestling, and it's not with New Japan. Sorry.
No comment.
Yeah. Danny G says, well done, Denise, on all your success over Mania weekend. Watched your vlog earlier this week and it was genuinely moving. Speaking of which, Flippy Pete, that's not me. When are we going to get more content on your channel? I've been waiting 8 years for a new video. God.
You haven't posted a new video in 8 years?
So this, Denise, was a YouTube channel I had when I was at university, when I was doing parkour and free running. And I used to upload parkour stuff, me doing flips and stuff. And yeah, I stopped posting to that because I stopped doing it. And recently it has now been unearthed by a few people. And now it's been mentioned on podcasts and stuff. And people have found the old YouTube channel. And yeah, it's really bad, really poorly edited. And I have hair.
That's embarrassing.
Wild.
You should go in and like make it private, or unless you want people to see it, then leave it there.
So it's on the to-do list.
Are you monetized on that channel?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say, because if you're just generating big bucks on there, then let it roll, man. Let it keep going. Let it make its money organically. But if not, and if you're just being humiliated, I think you should leave it. Honestly, I think you should leave it. Unless it's really bad, then delete it.
Oh, it's real bad, Denise.
Like how bad? Like you're a little boy and you're making dumb things. You're doing dumb things.
The videos are of such a bad quality that I am.
But are you bad quality?
I don't think I'm bad quality. Well, there's parts of it where I'm like, oh, that probably shouldn't have uploaded that. That looks a bit stupid. But there's some parts of it, it's like, hey, that's not bad. That's like genuinely a bit impressive. But it's just, I can't edit at all at that time in my life. And like the music's bad, the editing's bad. Like it's just.
Okay, well, I mean, as long as you're not doing anything questionable on there, then you can leave it.
It's bad. Bad, Denise. Is what it is.
Okay, then delete it.
I like my content to be good quality,
Yeah, but it's kind of funny though, because people can see like, oh, this is where he was at before, and this is where he's at now, so you can show your growth.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus, maybe like old man Pete is going to want to see that back in the day. And if you delete it,
I won't delete it. I'll privatize it. That's different.
there
So it'll
you
still
go.
be there, just that people won't be able to find it. So you better watch it shortly because I will go and privatize that at some point. Josh Hale says, "Hey, Team Panisse, love this team. I just have to say thank you to WrestleTalk for keeping me sane when I was recovering. I look forward to new videos every day. Now I'm 3 months sober and feeling great. You guys help me more than you know. Thank you so much, Josh, and I'm really glad you're 3 months sober. Well done. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you so much. I believe that might be it for the Ultrachats. So yeah, we're gonna wrap up the show a little bit early because Denise has to go get a plane.
I do. I'm gonna go run after it.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap up the show a little bit early, but thank you guys for coming out and checking out this episode. Really do appreciate it. Everyone's commenting on my on my YouTube channel that they found in the chat.
What's the YouTube channel name? Can I know?
I'm not going to say it, Denise.
So I have to go hunt it down?
No.
Okay,
Honestly,
well, I'm sure the people on Twitter will like notify me.
It's not hard to find. But anyway.
I'm just going to type in your name.
Maybe. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Really do appreciate it. We'll catch you in another episode soon. It's going to be me and Tempest tomorrow doing the reviews of SmackDown and Rampage. Then we get back into normal content next week with Luke coming back next week. So yay, everything back to normal. Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Goodbye.